The Arch-Hag is a creature that has captivated me with its depth and complexity. As the apex of Fey beings, the Arch-Hag embodies the sinister and enigmatic qualities that make hags such compelling figures in D&D. Their unpredictable nature, self-interest, and bizarre fascinations add layers to any game. What truly sets it apart is its formidable presence in the game. With a challenge rating of 21, an armor class of 20, and an average of 333 hit points, they present a significant challenge to even the most seasoned of adventurers. Their abilities such as Tongue Twister, which casts counterspells as a reaction, and Crackling Wave, which curses opponents, showcases their capacity to disrupt and challenge players in unique ways. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Arch-Hag is the Spiteful Escape ability. This feature allows him to evade death by teleporting it to a demiplane, cursing those left behind, and maintaining a psychic link to those foes. This not only adds a tactical element to encounters, but also enriches the narrative, as players must delve into the Hag's lore to discover and exploit their unique anathema, the specific weakness that can lead to their ultimate defeat. Incorporating an Arch-Hag into a campaign offers endless possibilities for storytelling. Their complex motivations and a necessity for players to uncover their anathema encourage deep engagement with the game's world and lore. This depth and strategic challenge they present are what make the Arch-Hag one of my favorite creatures. In this review, I aim to share my enthusiasm for the Arch-Hag, a standout addition in the 2025 Monster Manual in my opinion. This creature exemplifies the depth and creativity that makes Dungeons & Dragons so captivating. By delving into the Arch-Hag's lore, abilities, and potential roles within your game, I hope to provide DMs, GMs, and players with a comprehensive understanding of how to incorporate this formidable Fey into their adventures. My goal is to highlight the unique challenges and storytelling opportunities the Arch-Hag presents, enhancing your gameplay experience. The Arch-Hag, it embodies the pinnacle of power and malevolence within D&D. This apex creature shares striking similarities with Babayaga, a legendary witch from Slavic folklore and Dungeons & Dragons itself. Exploring Baba Yaga's mythology provides valuable insights into the origins and characteristics of the Arch-Hag. In Slavic mythology, Baba Yaga is depicted as a fearsome old woman who resides deep within the forest in a hut that stands on chicken legs. She is often portrayed flying through the air in a mortar, wielding a pestle, and using a broom to sweep away her tracks. Baba Yaga's role in folklore is multifaceted. She can be a villainous figure who abducts and consumes children, or a wise woman who offers guidance to those who seek her out. This duality underscores her unpredictable and enigmatic nature. Within the D&D universe, Baba Yaga is recognized as an extraordinarily powerful mage and archfey. She is often described as the most powerful female mage ever known, with a reputation for traversing various planes of existence. Her magical hut, mirroring the folklore, appears in different locations. Baba Yaga's influence extends to her role as the mother of the Hourglass Coven, adoptive mother and mentor of notable figures like Tasha, a renowned witch, and the mother of the demon lord Grazit. Her personality is notoriously unpredictable and capricious. She is known to be dangerously fickle, equally likely to aid individuals as she is to harm them, regardless of their behavior towards her. Politeness does not guarantee her favor, nor does rudeness ensure her wrath. Her motivations are complex and often self-serving. She seeks personal power above all else and desires autonomy, resisting being beholden to anybody. She tends to categorize others as obstacles to her power, threats to her independence, or simply tools to further her own ends. Central to her legend is the iconic dwelling, the Dancing Hut. This magical structure stands on chicken legs and can transport itself across dimensions. The hut's interior is significantly larger than its exterior suggests, containing numerous rooms filled with strange and dangerous entities. The layout of the hut is ever-changing, making it a perplexing and hazardous place for intruders. The Baba Yaga has been featured in various D&D modules, most notably in the Dancing Hut of Baba Yaga. This adventure presents her as a formidable entity whose motives are inscrutable, challenging players to navigate the perils of her hut and contend with her unpredictable nature. Now, the Arch-Hag has characteristics that draw heavily from lore surrounding Baba Yaga. Clearly, both figures are known for their capricious and self-serving behaviors, making them both formidable and enigmatic entities within their respective narratives. They both have legendary magical prowess, as reflected in the Arch-Hag's high-level abilities, positioning both the Arch-Hag and Baba Yaga as significant threats to those who encounter them. The iconic chicken-legged hut of Baba Yaga finds its counterpart in the lairs of the Arch-Hag, which are often depicted as otherworldly and filled with dark enchantments. By understanding Baba Yaga's rich mythology and her adaptation into Dungeons & Dragons, players and dungeon masters can gain a deeper appreciation for the Arch-Hag's role within the game. This connection not only enriches the narrative potential of campaigns, but also pays homage to the enduring legacy of one of folklore's most intriguing figures. The Arch-Hag embodies the pinnacle of power and benevolence. Their behavior and motivations are multifaceted, making them formidable and unpredictable adversaries. They are categorized by their capricious and self-serving nature. They are described as unpredictable, self-interested, and greedy, with bizarre fascinations and affections. This unpredictability means they may alternatively serve as allies or adversaries, depending on how interactions align with their current whims and desires. Driven by their insatiable greed and peculiar obsessions, the Arch-Hag pursues their interests with little regard for others. Their motivations can range from an acquisition of a rare artifact to the orchestration of elaborate schemes that satisfy their eccentric curiosities. This self-interest makes them willing to manipulate, deceive, or even assist others if it serves their purposes. A unique aspect of their nature, of course, is their anathema, a specific object or concept they abhor. This deep-seated aversion can be anything from a particular item to even an abstract idea, adding complexity to their behavior and providing potential leverage for those who seek to oppose them. Understanding that intricate behavior and their motivations will allow dungeon masters to craft nuanced encounters that challenge players both strategically and morally. These beings can serve as recurring figures whose shifting alliances and hidden agendas keep adventurers and your players on their toes, enriching that narrative, which I'm all about. I would like to offer you several potential motivations for the Arch-Hag, along with examples for how their behavior might manifest and possible anathemas associated with each of those. First up would be pursuit of forbidden knowledge. They may seek ancient and forbidden knowledge to augment their power or achieve personal goals. They can do this through the manipulation of scholars. They might offer assistance to different sages or wizards in exchange for rare tomes or secrets, only to twist that information for their own dark purposes. They may use it for creation of dark rituals, conducting experiments or rituals that require rare components, leading them to interact with adventurers or meddle in local affairs to obtain what they need. A possible anathema for that is a specific ancient manuscript that refutes the very knowledge the Arch-Hag seeks, rendering her powerless when in its presence. 2. Spreading corruption and despair. Deriving pleasure and sustenance from the misery of others, an Arch-Hag might aim to sow discord and despair within communities. Through cursed bargains, offering aid to desperate individuals, only to have that assistance come with unforeseen tragic consequences, well, obviously. Influencing the leaders of that community, whispering counsel to those in power, leading to decisions that result in societal decay or unrest. An anathema for that could be a symbol of pure, untainted joy or love, such as a locket containing a picture of a couple's first true love, which weakens the Arch-Hag's resolve and power. How about collecting unique souls or life forces to extend their own lifespan or enhance their abilities? They might seek to harvest the souls or life essence of particularly unique or powerful beings. through orchestrating challenges, setting up scenarios where heroes are tested with the intent of claiming the souls of those who fail or even those who win. Creating different vessels for a soul, and crafting items or constructs designed to trap souls, which they covet and protect fiercely. A good anathema for this would be a relic or artifact that can release the trapped souls, representing the undoing of the Arch-Hag's efforts and a direct threat to her power. Or obsession with beauty and youth, envious of mortal beauty and youth, the hag might strive to attain or destroy these qualities, kidnapping young individuals to drain their vitality, attempting to restore their own lost beauty, or casting spells or curses to mar the appearance of those they deem too attractive, leveling the playing field of their twisted perceptions. A good anathema would be a mirror that reflects the true, unaltered beauty of that individual, forcing the Arch-Hag to confront their own insecurities and diminishing their confidence and power. Or dominance over nature, seeking control over natural forces and creatures to bend the environment to their will, through desecrating sacred groves or natural landmarks to assert dominance and spread blight, or enslaving or manipulating local wildlife to serve as spies or enforcers of their will. An anathema for that would be a seed from the first tree, probably the world tree, maybe an ancient untouched forest, symbolizing nature's purity and resilience against corruption. By integrating any of these motivations, or your own, and behaviors, you can create a nuanced and formidable Arch-Hag antagonist. Understanding their anathema provides players with a strategic avenue to confront and ultimately defeat them, adding depth and engagement to that storytelling experience. This creature stands as a formidable challenge for high-level adventurers. Their stat block reflects status as an apex Fey creature, with abilities and defenses that require strategic planning to overcome. I like to delve into the key components of that stat block and highlight the standout features that make them such a unique adversary. The defensive attributes, the AC, it boasts an AC of 20, like I stated before, providing substantial protection against physical attacks, while high, seasoned adventurers with significant attack bonuses may still breach this defense. The HP, with the average of 333 hit points, so it's 29 D10 plus 174, they can endure prolonged combat, necessitating sustained efforts from their opponents to bring them down. They do indeed have damage resistance and immunities, being resistant to cold, fire, and psychic damage, and immune to being charmed, exhausted, or frightened. These resistances and immunities enhance the durability against a variety of attacks. And of course, they're not without their offensive capabilities. They can execute 2 Spectral Claw attacks and 1 Crackling Wave per turn. The Spectral Claw, this attack has a plus 14 bonus to hit, a reach of 10 feet or 60 feet at range, and deals an average of 17 force damage. On a successful hit, the target is knocked prone, disrupting their positioning and actions. No save. Crackling Wave is a 60-foot cone attack that requires a DC 22 Dex save. Failure results in an average of 32 lightning damage, while success halves the damage, as usual. Additionally, affected creatures are cursed until the end of the Arch-Hag's next turn, rendering them unable to take reactions. And then as a bonus action, Witch Strike. Targets within 60 feet who are cursed by the Arch-Hag suffer an average of 14 lightning damage. This ability synergizes with her cursing attacks, allowing her to exploit the vulnerabilities of her foes. And of course, they are not without spellcasting and their reactions. Their innate spellcasting, they can cast several spells with a spell save DC of 22, which includes At Will, Detect Thoughts, Dimension Door, Dispel Magic, and Hypnotic Pattern. The fact that they can do Dimension Door at will is a little bit insane. On top of that, they have Twice per Day, Mass Suggestion, Modify Memory, and Plane Shift. And then, of course, as a reaction, Tongue Twister, which, when a creature within 60 feet casts a spell, the Arch-Hag can force a DC 22 Wisdom saving throw. Failure will result in the spell's negation, and the caster is cursed. preventing them from casting spells with verbal components until the end of their next turn. That is awesome. And of course, on top of that, they definitely have their legendary actions. They can perform up to 3 legendary actions per round, 4 if they're in their lair, choosing from Spectral Claw attack, which allows an additional attack outside her turn. Cast Dimension Door, which is a legendary action, is also insane, is on top of being at will. Enables rapid repositioning to maintain tactical advantages. Or they can cast Hypnotic Pattern, which can incapacitate multiple foes and disrupt their coordination. The Spiteful Escape, upon dropping to 0 HP, if her specific anathema isn't within 30 feet, the Arch-Hag teleports to a demiplane with 1 HP, evading death and cursing nearby enemies. This mechanic encourages players to uncover her anathema while adding depth to that encounter, as they do not want to be found by this creature, after they defeat them. They also have their magic resistance. Grants advantage on saving throws against spells and magical effects, bolstering their defenses against spell casters. There are so many tactical considerations for this. Their abilities are designed to disrupt and debilitate their opponents. They have an initiative advantage. With a high initiative bonus, they often act early, setting the battle's tone. With crowd control, with spells like Hypnotic Pattern and abilities like Crackling Wave, they can incapacitate or hinder multiple foes, allowing them to control the battlefield. And of course, their survivability. They have resistance to immunities and Spiteful Escape make them exceptionally durable, requiring players to strategize beyond straightforward attacks. The Arch-Hag stat block is a masterpiece of design. It encapsulates the sheer power and menace that this apex creature embodies. Their ability to cast Dimension Door at will, including it as a legendary action, is particularly noteworthy. This grants them unparalleled mobility, allowing them to reposition strategically, evade threats, or ambush unsuspecting foes with ease. Such versatility ensures that encounters with the Hag remain dynamic and unpredictable, keeping players on their toes. Beyond the teleportation prowess, the Hag's suite of debilitating curses and formidable defenses make them a truly formidable adversary. The capacity to manipulate the battlefield, coupled with the resilience, demands that players approach engagements with careful planning and adaptability. This stat block not only challenges adventures, but also enriches the narrative depth of any campaign, making it a villain that players will both fear and respect. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Coven Magic. That is a unique feature that allows a group of hags to combine their magical prowess, granting them access to a broader array of spells. This collaborative spellcasting does enhance their versatility and potency, making them even more formidable adversaries. When 3 hags form a coven, and they are within 30 feet of each other, they can cast specific spells without expending material components. This shared magic typically includes divination spells, enabling the coven to gather information, locate individuals or objects, and foresee future events. However, the exact spells available can vary depending on the coven's composition and the dungeon master's discretion. Arch-Hags, being powerful entities in their own right, have a nuanced relationship with Coven Magic. While they can lead a coven of lesser hags, the 2025 Monster Manual suggests that Arch-Hags possess innate spellcasting abilities that do not rely on the traditional coven structure. This means they can access certain spells without the need for a coven, streamlining their spellcasting capabilities. However, if they choose to participate in Coven Magic with other hags, they can further enhance their spellcasting repertoire, gaining access to additional spells and benefits. By engaging in Coven Magic, an Arch-Hag can augment their magical ability in several ways. Joining a coven allows an Arch-Hag to access a wider range of spells, including those focused on divination and enchantment. Shared spellcasting resources. The coven's collective spell slots enable Arch-Hags to cast more spells per day, increasing their magical output. And of course, certain spells cast by the coven members can have amplified effects when combined, creating opportunities for devastating magical attacks or powerful protective wards. It's important to note that the effectiveness of Coven Magic depends on the cooperation and proximity of those coven members. If an Arch-Hag is separated from their coven or chooses to operate alone, they rely solely on their innate spellcasting abilities, which are formidable but may lack the breadth and synergy provided by a coven. By incorporating Coven Magic into your campaign, it will add depth to the Arch-Hag's character, offering strategic options for both Dungeon Master and the players. It emphasizes themes and collaboration and intricate dynamics of power among Fey creatures, enriching the storytelling experience. And I'm all about the storytelling experience. The Arch-Hag is designed to be exceptionally resilient and formidable adversary, particularly when encountered within her lair. One of the defining features is legendary resistance ability, which allows them to avoid the debilitating effects of failed saving throws. Outside of their lair, the Arch-Hag can use legendary resistance 4 times per day. Each time they fail a saving throw, they can choose to succeed instead, effectively negating the potential negative outcome. Within the lair, the connection to the domain strengthens, granting an additional legendary resistance, bringing a total up to 5 per day. This enhancement makes them even more challenging to overcome in their native environment. These legendary resistances underscore the Arch-Hag's status as a high-level threat, capable of withstanding and countering the efforts of even the most prepared adventurers. Their ability to consistently thwart attempts to hinder through saving throws ensures that encounters are both dynamic and demanding, requiring players to strategize carefully and consider the environment in which they confront. The Spiteful Escape is distinctive and formidable, and enhancing their role as elusive and persistent adversaries. This trait not only underscores their resilience, but also introduces a unique strategy element to encounters with them. The Spiteful Escape mechanics. There's an activation condition. When an Arch-Hag's hit points drops to 0, they does not immediately perish. Instead, if she is not within 30 feet of her anathema, a specific object, person, or concept they despise, they then activate Spiteful Escape. Teleportation. Upon activation, the Arch-Hag teleports to a demiplane, retreating from immediate danger. And then cursing all nearby creatures. All creatures within 60 feet of the Arch-Hag at the time of this activation are afflicted with a curse. This curse imposes disadvantage on their ability checks and saving throws. And of course, the tracking ability. While in that demiplane, the Arch-Hag gains the innate ability to sense the location of all cursed individuals across the multiverse, allowing them to track them regardless of distance. These have strategic implications. The Spiteful Escape ensures that Arch-Hags are not easily vanquished, adding a layer of complexity to those encounters. Adventurers must not only contend with the Hag's formidable powers, but also embark on quests to discover and exploit their anathema. This pursuit can lead to rich storytelling opportunities as players delve into the Hag's history and weaknesses to prevent them from escaping and returning for vengeance. This ability exemplifies the Arch-Hag's role as a recurring nemesis, capable of surviving initial defeats and forcing players to engage in prolonged efforts to truly overcome them. By integrating an Arch-Hag into your campaign, this will offer Dungeon Masters a chance to challenge players with a cunning and formidable foe. Arch-Hags excel in disrupting player strategies through their unique abilities, particularly their capacity to curse and manipulate. Here are some strategies how Dungeon Masters can effectively utilize these traits in combat. Through pre-combat manipulation, some subtle influence. Before any direct confrontation, an Arch-Hag can employ spells like Phantasmal Force, Hallucinatory Terrain, or Charm Person to sow distrust among party members, create false perceptions, turn allies against each other. Through information gathering, you can utilize sending or dream to communicate with party members, planting seeds of doubt or misinformation, thereby isolating them and making them more susceptible to future manipulations. Beyond that, they can use battlefield control. With their cursing tactics, Arch-Hags can cast spells like Bestow Curse to impose disadvantages on player characters, hampering their combat effectiveness. And of course, area denial. Employ abilities like Crackling Wave to create zones where players cannot take reactions, disrupting their tactical options and leaving them vulnerable to follow-up attacks. They would exploit spellcasters because they know what they're all about. Counterspell with Consequence. Use Tongue Twister to counter enemy spells and curse the caster. preventing them from using verbal components in their spells, effectively neutralizing a significant portion of their magical arsenal. And of course, they would definitely silence key targets. Target enemy spellcasters with hypnotic pattern to incapacitate them, rendering them unable to cast spells and leaving them vulnerable to attacks. Make sure you use your legendary actions and resistances to their fullest. With their legendary actions, an Arch-Hag can take additional actions outside their turn, as we all know, such as casting Dimension Door to reposition strategically or using Hypnotic Pattern to disrupt player formations, ensuring they remain unpredictable and challenging. I cannot stress this enough. Use Dimension Door. Their resistance is legendary. With their multiple legendary resistances per day, Arch-Hags can automatically succeed on their saving throws if they fail. Do not forget to do this, making them highly resilient against players' spell abilities and rely on saving throws. Use the environment to their advantage in their lair with their lair actions. Arch-Hags can manipulate the environment, such as passing through walls or locking doors, to control the flow of combat, isolate the players, or escape when overwhelmed. And of course, they have their regional effects on top of that. The presence of an Arch-Hag will warp the surrounding area, creating illusions or altering terrain to disorient players, making navigation and combat more treacherous. Now, after combat, they would use Spiteful Escape, as we've gone over. If reduced to 0 hit points, that Arch-Hag will teleport to a demiplane, leaving behind a curse on nearby players that imposes disadvantage on their abilities and saving throws that allows the Hag to track their locations. This curse will persist until it is removed, ensuring the Hag's influence lingers and setting the stage for future encounters. And of course, if they really need to, strategic retreat. Avoiding the direct confrontation. Arch-Hags prefer to manipulate from the shadows, avoiding direct combat unless absolutely necessary. They might employ minions to create distractions or to divert players' attention, allowing them to execute their plans without engaging in battle. By incorporating these tactics, the Dungeon Master can present a multifaceted, engaging challenge with the Arch-Hag, emphasizing that role as a master manipulator and formidable spellcaster. This would encourage players to think critically, adapt their strategies, and remain vigilant against both overt and subtle threats, or they're doomed. Facing an Arch-Hag presents a unique and formidable challenge, and that will require players to employ strategic thinking through investigation and collaborative efforts. Arch-Hags are not only powerful spellcasters, but always remember master manipulators, making them exceptional adversaries. So for a player, understanding their abilities is crucial. Curses. Again, Arch-Hags possess various curse-inducing abilities, such as the Crackling Wave, which prevents reactions, and Tongue Twister, which hampers your spellcasters by disrupting their verbal components. There's Spiteful Escape, as we've gone over. They go to a demiplane when they've reached 0 hit points. You need to be able to identify and exploit the Arch-Hag's anathema. Each Arch-Hag has a unique weakness, which is crucial to their defeat. This could be a specific object or concept tied to the Arch-Hag's past or nature. Some examples of that would be the bones of the Arch-Hag's first love, a devil's tear, a flower that blooms only when time stops, and my personal favorite is a scrap of clothing from or the Lady of Pain in Sigil. Good luck with that one. Strategies to uncover and utilize that anathema through research and investigation will delve into the Hag's history through local legends or consulting knowledgeable NPCs. Understanding the Hag's past and personal dislikes can provide clues to their anathema. Search areas connected to the Hag, such as the lair, or places they might frequent, for items or symbols that might reveal their weakness. Employ spells like Commune, Divination, or Legend Lore to gain insights into the Hag's vulnerabilities, and if direct confrontation occurs, consider engaging the Hag in conversation. They may inadvertently reveal their anathema through their words or reactions. Mitigating a Hag's curse will be very useful as well. Remove curse. Have spellcasters prepare remove curse to alleviate the debilitating effects of the Hag's curses. Be aware that some curses, like those from Spiteful Escape, may require additional steps to lift. Be prepared for counterspell. Anticipate the Hag's use of Tongue Twister by having counterspells ready or by protecting key spellcasters from being targeted. Your combat tactics against the Arch-Hag need to be spot on, so you need to target that anathema. Once identified, keep the Hag's anathema within 30 feet of her during combat to prevent them from using Spiteful Escape to retreat when reduced to 0 hit points. Make sure you can disrupt that spell casting. Use abilities or spells that silence or hinder the Hag's spell casting, reducing their ability to curse and control the battlefield. And be aware of your environment. Be mindful of the layer actions and regional effects, which can alter the environment to their advantage. Plan accordingly to mitigate those effects. Prepare for the Hag's return. If the Hag uses Spiteful Escape, when she will know the location of cursed individuals across the multiverse. Prepare for that return by removing curses promptly and taking precautions against those tracking abilities. And that layer defense, if engaging in the Hag's lair, reinforce your defenses and consider the possibility of her manipulating the environment to her advantage. Make sure you leverage your player's skills and abilities. Utilize character skills in arcana, history, and investigation to gather information about the Hag and their weakness. Engage in role-playing to uncover personal stories or legends about that Hag that might hint at their anathema. Collaborate as a team, share findings, strategize combat approaches, and support each other in mitigating the Hag's curses. By combining thorough investigation, strategic combat planning, and an understanding of the Arch-Hag's unique vulnerabilities, players can enhance their chances of overcoming this formidable foe. Identifying and exploiting the Hag's anathema is central to ensuring her defeat and preventing them from returning to torment the player further. For dungeon masters out there, integrating the Arch-Hag into your campaign offers a rich opportunity to weave complex narratives that challenge players both strategically and emotionally. They are not mere adversaries, they are intricate beings with deep-seated motivations and personalities that can drive compelling stories. Here's a few ways you can incorporate them effectively. You need to establish the Arch-Hag's origin and motivation. Craft a detailed history for the Arch-Hag, exploring their origins, rise to power, and the events that shaped their world. For instance, she might have been a betrayed ruler who now seeks to manipulate political landscapes to regain the lost throne. Define the current objectives. Perhaps they aim to expand their influence over a specific region, extract revenge on those who had wronged them, or unravel a long-lost secret that would grant them ultimate power. You can weave that Arch-Hag's camp through your campaign's lore, through historical ties, introduce ancient prophecies, forgotten artifacts, or old alliances that connect to the Hag. It'll help enhance the broader history, making their presence feel like an integral part of the world's fabric. Showcase the impact on local cultures, such as influencing folklore, traditions, or societal norms, thereby deepening that role in the world's ongoing narrative. Through subtle interference, have the Hag subtly influence events from the shadows, orchestrating scenarios that test the player's morals, sow discord among allies, or lead them into traps, all while remaining as an unseen puppet master. Make sure they use those deceptive disguises. Allow them to assume various guises, interacting with the players under false pretenses. This is always fun. Providing misleading information or offering tempting bargains that come with a hidden cost. Create those personal stakes for your players. Tie the Arch-Hag schemes to the players' backgrounds if you can, such as manipulating events that affect their hometowns, families, or personal quests, making those actions feel personal and urgent. Present those situations where the players might choose between equally undesirable options, each influenced by the Hag's machinations, forcing them to confront their values and priorities. And introduce that concept of the anathema. Engage the players in a quest to uncover the anathema, the unique object, person, or concept she despises. This knowledge will be crucial to taking down such a creature. Plan for multi-phase confrontation. Structure the campaign so that the players face the Arch-Hag's influence in stages, starting with subtle manipulations and building up to a direct confrontation, each revealing more about the plans and vulnerabilities. Make sure you emphasize the Arch-Hag's role in the larger narrative. Highlight how that creature's actions have far-reaching consequences, potentially altering the balance of power, disrupting natural forces, or reshaping societal structures, thereby underscoring their significance in the world's ongoing story. By integrating the Arch-Hag into your campaign, that will introduce layers of complexity and intrigue. Their abilities for deception and long-term scheming will encourage players to engage in critical thinking and strategic planning. The unique concept of the Arch-Hag's anathema adds depth, prompting players to uncover and exploit these weaknesses to overcome the Hag's resilience. However, it is essential to balance their power to prevent overshadowing player agency, ensuring that encounters remain challenging yet fair. That's my final word there, guys. This is James from the Dungeon Puffin. This was a long one. I appreciate you sticking through this. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll like to talk to you guys later.